My name is Andreas, I'm the founder of LTL. I've lived in China since 2002 and today we're going to talk about the best place to learn Chinese in China. China is huge, there are so many different places to go to, so it's really hard to decide where is the best place to actually learn Mandarin. Now, there's no definite answer for that because there are so many different places that fit different kinds of people. So there is only a best place for you or for a specific person. There is not just one generally best place because it depends very much on you. However, there's certain criteria that you should be looking at when you are choosing the best place to study Chinese for you. For learning Mandarin, the first thing that one should look at is, well, how well do they speak Mandarin? Because Mandarin is spoken, well, all over China, but not by everyone. Actually, many people in China speak different languages, almost like Cantonese, or accents that are often completely incomprehensible. So how similar is their Mandarin to the textbook Mandarin that you can learn in school? Secondly, how big is the temptation to speak English? Because when you're learning Mandarin, your biggest enemy is what? English. And you should not speak English. You need to speak Mandarin, dream Mandarin, listen to Mandarin, be immersed in Mandarin. So you're learning the language and you get away from English. And that's of course harder to do in places where a lot of people speak English. And thirdly, how good is the availability of schools and programs and teachers there? Because not all places have good places to learn Mandarin. At the same time, of course, when you're looking for the best place to learn Mandarin, well, you need to like the place. It needs to be a nice place because to learn Mandarin takes a bit of a time, so you need to enjoy your time there. So it needs to be a city that you enjoy. And there are different things to look at, of course. One very important thing I find is big against small, like the huge cities in China and very small cities in China, and life there is very, very different. The second part is the environment and the climate, which is very different. China is a huge place. So, you know, from minus 40 degrees next to the Siberian border to ever tropical Hainan Island, there are a lot of different choices. And thirdly, of course, costs. How much is it going to cost you there? Because, yeah, how much money you're spending on the Bund in Shanghai party all night, easily spending $1,000 on one night out, or you know, drinking cheap Qingdao beers on the street somewhere in a province, and for $2 you're fine all night as well. So it depends very much. So these are the things I would be looking at when you're choosing the right place. First, how good Mandarin will you speak? Secondly, how tempted will you be to speak English? Thirdly, how good is the availability of Chinese learning resources, teachers, schools, universities? And for life, big, small, climate and environment, and thirdly, cost. So I would decide where you might be looking at and then rank cities according to these factors. To make things a little bit easier, I want to share with you my 3 favorite cities to learn Chinese in. And the first one has to be Beijing. I might be slightly biased because I've lived in Beijing for a very long time and I like the place. But Beijing is not for nothing the most popular city to learn Mandarin because people do speak Mandarin there. It's Mandarin spoken everywhere. There's a Beijing accent, and some people speak the Beijing R, you might have heard of it. But the general, very standard Mandarin is spoken around Beijing. Also, okay, one disadvantage here is the temptation to speak English, unfortunately, does exist. There's a quite vibrant international community there, and there's certain areas of Beijing, if you go there, then you might be tempted to speak a lot of English. The good thing is, if you just choose not to live there and just not go there, well, then you'll be in a perfectly immersed Chinese environment. You just need to stay away from the kind of the fog and the hotspots. Thirdly, schools and teachers. Beijing is the worldwide center of Mandarin education, so you are going to have a lot of choice of different schools, universities, teachers. Chinese language education standards in Beijing are the highest in the world, so you have a lot of good choice. Also at the same time, it's a very big city, obviously, so you need to like that. If you want a small town, Beijing, wrong place. Climate-wise, it's northern, so it gets pretty cold in the winter. You're gonna be right with that. It's pretty hot in the summer. In general, it's quite dry. Beijing is a very dry city. Except the summer, you're gonna see very little rain. The environment is okay. Air quality has massively improved recently in the last couple of years, but still isn't fantastic. I mean, if you are looking for an air purifying holiday, then probably Beijing is the wrong place. But it's okay. Also, the mountains are pretty close. It's about a 1 hour drive to get out of the city, and then you are in the proper countryside. Thirdly, cost-wise, Beijing is not the cheapest choice, unfortunately. Especially rent is going to cost you quite a bit. So that's Beijing. That's very famous. I think anybody who wants to learn Mandarin has been thinking about going to Beijing, at least as one of the options. Now, I want to give you two other options that I find very interesting, but not so many people have heard about. The first one would be Chengde. Chengde is 2 hours northeast of Beijing. It's a much smaller town with 500,000 people. And the great thing is that Chengde speaks very standard Mandarin. In fact, standard Mandarin as it's codified today comes from Chengde. It was codified in Chengde. So people Chengde speak very standard. There are people with accents too, but overall, the Mandarin spoken in Chengde is very, very good. The great thing is the temptation to speak English does not exist. There are no foreigners in Chengde, so you will not be speaking English there because nobody speaks English there. So you'll be speaking Mandarin the whole time. Schools and teacher availability, yeah, there are no foreigners who will be studying Mandarin, so there is not much. In fact, I mean, our program is the only one there. So you don't have much choice, unfortunately, if you go to Chengde. Life-wise, it's a small city, so it's much more quiet. It's not as pumping as Beijing or Shanghai are. Climate-wise, it's quite similar to Beijing, but it's in the mountains, so it's a bit cooler, particularly in the summer. That's quite nice. In the winter, you have a ski resort there, but it's a northern climate, so it is a bit cooler, especially in the winter. Cost-wise, it's definitely cheaper than Beijing, so you'll be saving money there. And now, the third option is Beihai. Now, Beihai is all the way down to the south, at the end of China. It's close to Hainan Island. Hainan Island is this tropical tourist wonderland, which unfortunately has become very touristy now. Now, Beihai is on the mainland side of it, just opposite. It also has a beautiful beach. So it is it's a beach town. Standard Mandarin, like everywhere in southern China, is the local population there speaks Cantonese or Beihai, which is not Mandarin. They all do know how to speak Mandarin. When they speak Mandarin, they have a bit of an accent, but amongst each other, they will be speaking Beihai. But the good thing about Beihai is because it's such a beautiful town, almost half the population are basically climate migrants from northern China who moved to Beihai because of its lower cost, great air quality, and generally nice living standards. So you have a large part of the population that comes from northern China that speaks standard Mandarin. So you have half the people speaking perfectly standard Mandarin, half the people can speak Mandarin, but they're also speaking Beihai. The temptation to speak English in Beihai is very small. The total foreign population in Beihai is estimated at about 55 people. So really, yeah, it's not very much. School-wise, again, there's not so much offer, unfortunately. It's just our program in Beihai because, well, there are no foreigners there. Climate-wise, Beihai is warm. So the coldest it gets is in the winter, maybe I think 12 degrees, but usually it's beach weather pretty much the whole time around. It's a small city by Chinese standards, about 1 million inhabitants. So yeah, that makes it pretty small in China. Cost-wise, it's very affordable. So it's one of the cheapest places you can learn to study Mandarin, actually. We're giving a 40% discount on all schools and programs there. It is really very affordable. So that's a great thing about Beihai. So I want to give these as 3 different options for you to look at the best places to learn Chinese in. But you need to find the best city for you to learn Mandarin, which is different for every person because it depends on your specific preferences. So I want to just give you a couple of pointers there, and I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, anybody can learn Mandarin, and goodbye.
Somewhere on the sea, it got a little longer, so it seems. I burned out, so to speak. Now come a little closer. I feel a little light in the light track.